The year is 1783, and America is feeling invincible. The 13 colonies had just beaten back and embarrassed the British in the Revolutionary War, and, with the Treaty of Paris ratified, were finally regarded as independent. Unfortunately, the Native Americans weren't recognized and their lands were now under threat. And here, in the Northwest Territory, there was at least one leader who did not forget. Egushawa was a war chief, some say related to Pontiac, and a political leader of the Ottawa, or Odawa, tribe. Much of the tribe had settled around Fort Detroit in the early 1700s, but their territory extended from Lake Michigan into parts of northwest Ohio. Having fought on the side of the British during the Revolutionary War, Egushawa's Odawa, along with numerous other tribes, were on America's bad side. Encroachment and settlements began, and, in 1785, when more settlers arrived, the Native Confederacy claimed an existing boundary at the Ohio River, and any land north or west from it was to be spared from expansion. This, of course, wasn't to the Americans' liking, and a 10-year war for the Northwest Territory began. In 1791, after numerous raids and expansion campaigns, President George Washington ordered Arthur St. Clair to finally put an end to the native resistance. St. Clair was an experienced major general, having fought in the French-Indian War for the British, as well as the Continental Army during the Revolution, and was serving as governor of the Northwest Territory. The mission should have been a trot in the park. St. Clair was to build a fort in Kekeonga, the Miami tribe's capital, but during his march, the governor's army of 2,000 men dwindled to just half of that, due to sickness, low morale, and desertion. They had little supplies, and were constantly shadowed by native defenders. On November 3, St. Clair's army set up camp for the night. Soon, they would feel the power of the Northwestern Confederacy. The Northwestern Confederacy was a union of Native American tribes that included Blue Jacket and the Shawnee, Little Turtle and the Miami, Baconahilas and the Lenape, and Egushawa of the Odawa, who also represented the Ojibwe and Potawatomi. Egushawa was adamant about stopping American encroachment and was more militant in his methods, preferring a fight to a shameful peace. Arthur St. Clair and his men found this out at dawn. Forming a crescent shape around the American camp, the natives attacked. The artillery crews were killed first, along with the non-combatants. St. Clair was completely unprepared for the ambush. He had up to 3 horses shot from underneath him during the battle, as bayonet charges failed. After 3 to 4 hours of slaughter, the governor had to retreat to Fort Washington, leaving the wounded behind. This Battle of the Wabash would forever be known as St. Clair's defeat. Egushawa, Little Turtle, Blue Jacket, and the Confederacy successfully repelled the Americans and gave them their most humiliating loss at native hands. While the strength of numbers of both sides was similar, around 900 of St. Clair's men were killed or captured, along with most officers, including Richard Butler. William Darke was seriously wounded as well and barely survived. St. Clair himself narrowly made it back to Fort Washington. The Confederacy suffered just 21 losses in comparison. Celebrations were cut short, however. George Washington was not pleased with this outcome, and forced St. Clair to resign. He was replaced by Major General Anthony Wayne under the new Legion of the United States military reorganization. He trained and led a larger force north, to finish the Northwest Indian War once and for all, and show them why he was called Mad Anthony. On August 20, 1794, in northwest Ohio, on a field of fallen trees brought down by recent tornadoes, the Americans got their revenge. The 1,300 natives of the Confederacy didn't have a chance against Wayne's 3,000 men, and retreated within the hour. Egushawa was shot through the eye, but survived. With the Americans victorious, many leaders of the Native Confederacy ceded their land in the Treaty of Greenville in 1795, Egushawa being one of the last to do so, thus marking the end of the Northwest Indian War and the end of the native Northwest Territory. In 1792, the region had a population of less than 8,000. After new settlements were enabled, the population ballooned to over 45,000 by the year 1800. Time crept along, and Egushawa died around 1796, having lived just long enough to see the Confederacy disband and most of their territory taken. Though his features remain a mystery today, his heroism lived on, inspiring the next prominent leader in the region. A young Shawnee chief, who was at the Battle of Fallen Timbers and was destined to form a confederacy of his own. Thanks for watching Made in History. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos.